Hey everybody. All right, so surprise, we have a very special episode of Odyssey of the Dragonlords tonight. It is Thursday night. We are live, excited to get together. We had some unexpected absences, so throwing together something at the last minute. I hope you enjoy it. I hope I pull it off. I hope my players enjoy it. Before we go any further, I'd like to say thank you to the players who are able to and willing to experiment with this tonight. It's very much appreciated.
Feels like the 24-hour stream we did.
Oh, yeah, except I hope I don't end up crying.
Oh, that was both of you, right?
let me fix something real quick. I got a thing going. Okay, good. All right, so what we're doing tonight, we're not playing our main characters. I know I didn't have time to fix the overlay, y'all. So Ari is not playing Euron, and Austin is not playing Syaanis. There are no main characters in this, although this is part and parcel of the Dragonlord campaign. We're providing some context, some background for what's happening right now with our main party. Okay, if you recall, if you've been keeping up, which I hope you have, as they assaulted the main party, as they assaulted this temple on the island of Themis, along with Moxena, they ran into some trouble at the main entrance. They had to skedaddle out to save their own skins, but not before Moxena disappeared. Later on, as Lycus infiltrated the temple through a secret underwater entrance a la Hydra, he saw Moxena creeping around inside from a distance. Well, tonight we're going to find out what's been happening with Moxena inside the temple, and find out a little bit more about Moxena's story, and maybe a little bit about what our heroes are going to be walking into when they regain entry into the temple here on Themis. So, to that point, Ari is going to be playing Moxena, the Lady of Coins.
I mean,
and
it's
Austin,
another Medusa, but
it is another Medusa. And Austin is going to be playing an unknown character to the party. Her name is Nira. And man, what can I say about Nira without giving too much away? Let's just say that her and Moxena have a history, and I'm going to let the players have as much fun with this as they want. We're going to drop some lore. There's going to be some fighting. Austin is going to have to go early tonight, so we will handle that when we get to that.
Yeah.
But until then, let's play some D&D. So, here we go. Let me change the music first of all. There's a really good one here called Dark Angel. Thank you for that. Tabletop Audio. If you haven't checked out Tabletop Audio, do that. Where is Dark Angel? Here it is. I love this track. I really, really do. Let's fade out with Sun Dappled Trail, which is an amazingly heroic track, and come on into this. There we go.
It's quite funny because for graphics concerns and all that, I had the music turned off.
Oh.
I have no idea what's happening. I will assume that it is appropriately dramatic and lovely.
Well, you might want to turn it on for this one, if your computer can handle it.
We'll see.
Okay. So, Moxena, you've made it this far, largely using your own wits. You allied up with the heroes of the prophecy, not really believing in what they were meant to do or what they were going to do, but the fact is they had a reputation which you could stealthily fly under the guise of. They would be attracting the most attention, and so you could kind of sit back and use them to get closer and closer. And they were also pretty capable in a fight, since they are kind of destined to go up against the Titans, and so they could protect you and get you as far as you needed them to until you were able to pursue your own ends. That being said, you have made your way to Themis. You discovered the location, or the supposed location, of Queen Thessaly and her sister Leah, and upon arriving here, split off from the party, snuck inside, and along the way you were able to corner, intimidate, threaten, question, and kill a dwarven Amazonian woman who was the keeper of some guard basilisks at the entrance. Getting a bit of information about the layout, nothing too specific, but enough to keep you out of trouble immediately. You also discovered that there is a prisoner here, one of great importance to what you're trying to do. You discovered that your long-lost life mate is nearby, or at least is supposed to be nearby, and since this place has never been assaulted, stands to reason that you may actually be able to pull this off by yourself without even needing the Heroes of the Prophecy. So, coming down here into the second story of this temple complex, you find yourself in front of a hallway with an L shape ahead, and knowing where to look, you look up in the ceiling and you see several small holes, ones that you know house a set of bars, which if you walk past them in the hallway up ahead and activate the switch and don't say the password, you will be barred into a hallway subject to the vicious attacks of a Hydra on the other side of the wall. So, the scene is yours.
And I shall begin moving down the hallway. And as I approach the area with the bars, I will step over any traps that I encounter. And as I cross in, I will say, "By the grace of Lutheria." And
Okay.
I will turn away from there and begin walking down the hallway.
Okay, so muttering what you believe to be, you were told to be, the passphrase that will allow you safe passage through here, you enter the hallway and wait with bated breath for the Hydra to lash out at you, but it doesn't. You hear it on the other side of the hallway as you slowly creep down. It doesn't seem to take particular interest in you. It definitely notices you, but it doesn't seem to be lashing out, so I guess the password worked. About halfway down the hallway, you notice the hidden pressure switch, where if you were to step, it would activate these bars. You gently hop over it, and in this twisting motion, glancing through these holes past the Hydra with your amazing dark vision, I can't help but swear you see Lycus, one of the Heroes of the Prophecy, in the small pool on the opposite side of the chamber across the Hydra from you. He seems to be clinging to the wall carefully and silently motionless, and it almost looks like he saw you. You're not quite sure.
I ignore him, but in my head, I just kind of go,
Okay. So, continuing past all these holes, you make your way to the first intersection in this hallway. You can either go straight or continue to the right, and at this intersection on the near wall, there is a doorway. You don't see any other doorways around. You know that this hallway stretches out in two different directions from here, but you also know that the prison is supposed to be on this level, and so perhaps the prisoner you seek is here as well.
I would like to, as quietly then as possible, open the door.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
Oh god, I need to have the right sheet up. That would be a 25.
All right.
Gotta open just a crack.
Give me 1 second here. Okay. I need to roll. Nira, I need you to give me a perception check. Austin, you are Nira. Can you give me a perception check?
Sorry, like I zoned out hard as hell there for a minute.
Well, different character, different name. It's acceptable.
I rolled a 14.
Okay. So, Nira, as you are sitting here in the seat at this wooden table, this place is essentially, I mean, you haven't really seen anything outside of these 30 or so square feet for the last 10 years. There are 3 Amazons across the room from you, other guards. 2 of them are sleeping, 1 of them is awake, as much keeping an eye on you as they are guarding the prison itself. That one stops what they're doing and seems to be carving and playing with some wooden dice that you've seen her kind of fiddling around with lately. But she stops what she's doing and kind of cocks her head a bit towards the door. You notice this. You pay attention as well, but you hear nothing. After a moment, she kind of shakes her head and goes back to fiddling with the dice. So, Moxena, you open the door quietly, make a barely audible creak, but nothing else. Open the door and you see there is maybe a little 5-foot alcove here. There is a large bronze handled switch on the left hand wall, and then immediately another door.
I will do the same. Well, actually, first, examine the switch before I step into the room.
Okay, give me an investigation check.
God. $18.
18. Okay. You see the switch goes into kind of like a slotted opening, and despite how deep and dark it is, again, your eyes, amazing dark vision, you see a set of small metal cables rising up into the wall above, and then there's a little bit of a gear that you can just barely see where the cables wrap around and then direct themselves towards the hallway you were just standing in.
Okay.
The lever is also currently up. That matters for you.
That's fantastic. Then I will step into this chamber and do the same quiet little peek through the door.
Okay, 1 second. All right, so slowly opening the door, immediately you see off to the right hand side, the door swings in, opens to the left. You look off to your right hand side and you see one Amazon sleeping on a bed about 10 feet ahead, her feet towards you. You see another bed immediately next to it, and it looks like a hand hanging off, probably also a sleeping Amazon. But that's just a quick peek into the very corner off to the right hand side of the room.
So I see 2 possible Amazons who are asleep.
Indeed. Seems that way.
Can I hear anything in the room?
You need to give me a perception check for that.
God, so much clicking. That would be an 8.
An 8. There's the sound of soft breathing, which you can tell by looking. It's coming from the Amazon closest to you that is asleep. There's also a very, very subtle scraping sound. You can't quite make out what it is.
That enough to sort of be a sign of life.
Reasonably so.
Damn it, I need to look. I'd like to open the door a little bit more.
Okay. Open the door a little bit more. You see the second bed reveals it is in fact a sleeping Amazon. You see a third bed off to the right hand side. You see just enough of the pillow to tell that there is not someone sleeping in this bed, although as you crack the door open, that scraping sound does grow just a little bit louder.
I'd like to pull out my bow, and 'cause I need to be able to look in this room. I would like to pull out my bow, and I would like to try and again push the door open just enough that I can catch a glimpse of whoever's on that bed, and if they, as soon as I can see them, if they are awake, I would like to shoot them.
Okay. So you crack the door open ever so slowly, and you see there is an Amazonian warrior, full battle, shield at the side, short sword down next to her, and she has a dagger in her hand, and she is scraping away at some small metal semi-roundish object. You're not quite sure. You knock the arrow and go to draw back. Your weight shifts and you press slightly against the door unintentionally, and you hear the ever so quiet and with that she looks up, stands to her feet, and in one quick motion grabs her shield and sword. She is surprised, but I need all of you to Roll initiative.
Oh, there's the button. There's the button. Bonk. And I think I found a way to do less clicking, so hopefully that'll help.
You got it. All right, let me roll for them. Okay, so they are surprised. You get the first shot off. You are surprised as well by this, Nira. So you're shooting at this Amazon right here.
Oh, I need to be able to see.
What's that?
Okay. I didn't have the door open. So.
There you go. Now you do. This Amazon up here.
Okay. Then I'm going to, just gonna fire off from my bow.
Okay, go for it.
That's it. So, and I get 3 shots from that, I believe, because multi-attack. So that's a 20
That's
to hit.
true. A 20 hits.
Or, is every shot poison from that one? Yeah, beautiful. Oh.
It is.
Then that's for 15 damage.
You got it.
Then a 21 to hit for 12.
Okay.
And I doubt that one. 13 to hit for 14.
Okay. So, with the sudden movement, you pull the arrow back a little bit further, and you see at the tip of the arrow a small greenish liquid you know is a poison extracted from the fangs of the very snakes upon your head. You let it fly. In quick succession, another one. Hitting almost simultaneously. It penetrates her armor and she staggers over in pain, screams out, wailing agony, even further exciting the 2 now awake sleeping sisters next to her. She's still on her feet as the 3rd arrow flies wide as soon as she doubled over, went straight over her head, and you hear movement from off to your left behind the door where you can't see.
Fuck.
So that was your action. You got anything else?
At this point, I'm just going to, because she's screaming, I would like to step inside a step.
Okay.
I don't see my token anymore, so I don't know if I can.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, that's it. Okay. I just want to step inside fully and kick the door shut behind me.
Okay, go for it. Can you move your token? Is that not a thing? Okay.
I can't see, so I'm not sure what happened. I legitimately cannot see my token.
Okay, go ahead and give yourself an F5 refresh.
Okay.
But you have walked in and with the heel of your boot, you slam the door shut behind you, dropping now from your Kira form into that of Moxena, revealing the snake hairs lashing out, and a look of shock, horror, disgust, and then fury crosses the eyes of all 3 Amazonians sitting on the beds. And that rustling sound next to you, you can tell the sound of metal on metal as a sword is drawn to your left. Glancing over, you see beautiful dark hair and bright green eyes of Nira, the life mate that you last saw 10 years ago, the one that you've spent almost every waking minute thinking about when you're not considering revenge, and all the lost time and agony you've missed because you were separated and exiled by Queen Thessaly. And Nira, same for you.
I just say nothing and just stare for does not blink, just stare.
Like, I've already got my sword out, just like anticipating something coming in, and just like, Moxie?
And with that, the Amazons, they are surprised, so it is your go, Nira. What are you going to do?
Austin?
He's having such a hard time with this Nira thing.
I'm just gonna say Austin every single time you say Nira.
No,
I'm gonna say Austin.
Okay.
Just because, like, I'm not in the right headspace. Alright, so I'm just immediately gonna, like, push forward past Moxena and kind of, like, guard her.
Okay. Are you going to take any actions?
I'm
Oh no, wait, actually, you're surprised too. I did say you were surprised. So you're gonna move back. You can do that next time.
Yeah.
That's my fault as a bad DM. Bad DM. See what happens when I'm on the cuff like this? All right.
Shame.
All right, Moxena. Beginning of the first official round. What are you doing?
I'm gonna keep shooting the one that I was dealing with.
Okay.
So the first one, before I take the shot, I'm just gonna look over at and just go, I'll talk to you after, beloved. And then just, start firing.
Okay, you got it.
So that's 11 to hit, so that's first shot to no. 13 is a no. For fuck's sakes, I used all the good rolls earlier. None of the arrows. I'm still like, keep looking over, just being like, it's her. Oh my god. Did she get
Am I making
prettier?
you nervous?
Did she get more beautiful than the last time I saw her?
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, I'll give you that much.
I guess the thought of like, if we have any time after this, I have plans. I have been thinking of this for a decade. And every single shot misses.
It does. I mean, you have other things on your mind, that's fair. Okay, so with each arrow missing, you grow more and more furious and force yourself to focus on the vengeance at hand as the Amazons charge across the room at you. First one is going to hop up on the table next to Nira and you and rage. So they are now raging and slam out at you with 2 sword attacks. First one is a 21 to hit.
Yes.
For 7 piercing damage. The second one is a 10 to hit.
That one misses.
Okay. And simultaneously, the other 2 sisters jump up. They have no armor on, but they do have the short sword and shields ready. Their AC is lower. Their AC is going to be a 14, FYI.
Beautiful.
So remind me of that because it's not on their character sheet. And they're also going to rage, and they are going to also slam out the short swords at the only enemy they see, Moxena. First one is a 10 to hit.
Misses.
Second one is a 9 to hit.
Misses.
God, Moxena is quick. All right, there you go. That's a 22 to hit.
That one hits.
For 9.
Okay.
And then a 13 to hit.
Misses.
Okay, so gathering themselves, they rush forward, they spin, they pirouette back to back, twirling around, short swords flying, shields whipping around in your face. They're in this amazingly intricate, well-coordinated, well-practiced dance of death as they spin around and battle. You see the one that you first shot looking over at Nira between strikes, confused as though she's supposed to be fighting with her, but Nira's obviously missing her steps in this fight. Okay, Nira, now it's your turn.
So I'm gonna see these 3 just like rushing Moxena, and then I'm gonna rage.
Okay, you got it.
All right. So I'm gonna rage,
Get
and then
him,
I'm
baby.
going to lash out the one right in front of me with my short sword twice.
Get him, baby.
You got it.
All right. So 22 to hit for the first one.
Okay. How much damage?
Does 9 damage because of the extra 2 that I get
Sure.
from rage, right?
Yep. Okay, so not expecting a strike, she isn't even paying attention to you, and with one quick motion across the back of her neck, blood squirts off, her head kind of severs forward, and she tumbles off the table at Moxena's feet. The other 2 Amazons now look at you, confused and then furious.
And then,
Did you get me a gift, beloved?
and then I will jump on the table and stab at the other one that's like right to my right.
You got it.
And that'll be a 23 to hit for
That's a hit.
7 damage.
You got it. All right. Jumping up, kind of flip a little bit and stab out, short sword piercing into the shoulder before you rip it out. That arm goes a little bit limp before she kind of pops it, and she's back in the fight. All right. Moxena, you're up.
I will swap to my short sword, I think, for this.
Okay.
And just to clarify, it was this one that just got attacked, right?
Correct. Yes.
That is within melee range. So I am just going to kind of tisk, and the snakes will rise up and twirl and then just lash out the closest part of her.
Okay.
So start off with that. If that will let me roll the bastard. Nope. 10 to hit, so that will miss.
10 does
and
not hit.
Fuck that up with. There we go. One of them hit.
It's
Actually,
22.
wait, no. This is all to the same one. You said their AC was 14.
Yes.
Okay, so the swords, both the two sword swings hit.
Okay.
Would hit. The first one
You
is
got
a 6 damage,
All right.
and the second one is 3.
Okay. You got it. That's right. You draw blood, skin tears open, 2 really good hits. She's looking like she's not doing quite so great.
Yeah. And then that'll be it. Just going to spin a sword in my hand and just look at them and go, your training has really gone to the dogs. You can do better than that.
All right. So, 1 second here. All right. They're going to this one here. So you're an intruder. You were attacking him, but now one of their sisters is betraying them. This one down here next to you takes the disengage as a bonus action, whips around, twirls, and comes to flank Nira on the other side. So you're getting attacked on both sides now, Nira. The first one is a garbage, 11 to hit.
Nope.
Next one is another garbage, 9 to hit.
Nope.
All right, that's 2 strikes from the first one, and then another 10 to hit.
Nope.
Yeah, I know, and 9. Okay, so standing up on this table, emboldened by seeing Moxena in front of you, focused fully on fighting and getting back in the same rhythm you used to be in with her, you start spinning and twirling and hopping and slashing and blocking, and they cannot seem to make contact with you at all. You are up, Nira.
All right. So the one that just tried to flank me, I'm gonna whip around and like slash at him twice.
Okay, you got it.
Oh, that's a crit. So 25 to hit for 14 damage.
That's a massive blow.
That's my baby.
And the second one is a 15 to hit for
That's
6
a hit.
damage.
All right. A raking blow across the chest draws blood from all the way across the clavicle, shoulder to shoulder. Her sleeping gown stained red. Now what? Anything else?
I have the high ground.
You
All right,
underestimate
Moxena.
their power.
God.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Like,
All right, Moxena.
So just for a sense of it, which one looks currently more, as I would say,
They
fuckered?
both look equally injured. They're not doing great at all.
Then I will work on this one on the right.
Okay.
And 2 swings of the short sword. That's the 23 to hit for 7. And a 21 to hit for 8.
All right, 1 second.
Is she down?
Yeah, let me double check. Was that right or left again? I'm sorry, I was typing something.
Right.
Okay.
This one.
Yep.
If it will
Two
let me
quick,
try.
2 quick slashes across the abdomen. Her innards become outers as she topples over sideways, and then you hear a roar of pain, agony, and rage from the other Amazon left in the room.
Then I am going to turn to that one and attack once and let the snakes try and land this time.
Okay.
That's a 16 to hit. Jesus fucking Christ! For 18 damage!
All right, so you turn at the sound of this anguish, and you know what that cry is. You know the agony that comes with losing contact with your life mate, and so you grin, knowing the torture you're causing her as you've felt so many years from these same people. She throws down her shield, grabs the shorts with both hands, start whipping around wildly. You block easily, defending against her wild, undisciplined flurries, and draw her in close, and then snakes flare and bite at her face and neck. Her eyes roll in the back of her head, and she grows limp in your arms. So, bodies of 3 dead Amazonians lying around. You two lock eyes, torn apart a decade ago, now finally within arm's reach of each other. Your senses still heightened, adrenaline still pumping. You listen for sounds of anything else coming your way. And after a long minute of waiting, quietly listening, your heart still pounding in your ears, but for a very different reason, you sense that perhaps you have a moment's respite.
Long time no see.
I'm gonna haul her off the table and kiss her. It probably takes me to the ground because weight, but just yank, bonk, kiss. And then just forgive me, I've been wanting to do that for so long.
Oh, no problem. Honestly, it's nice seeing anyone that's not those three.
They do seem like terrible company.
Well, worse company now.
I thought they would have improved in this state.
So what brings you here?
Nothing much, my dear. I wish to see you, and I wish to commit some regicide and murder my sister. You know, the usual.
Okay. Hold that thought. I just need to check something right quick.
I will let go so you can get up.
And then I go to that door on the left side of the room and just go to check on everyone in there.
Okay. So open the door. This very all too familiar hallway, a short L-shaped hallway. You open and peer in, and the 5 prison cells contained within that it is your duty to guard, your punishment to guard until the end of your days, all seem undisturbed. The first 2 cells, immediately upon entering, you see the 2 lizard folk that were captured in your raid on Fire Island, curled in the corner, eating bits of raw flesh that have been tossed to them over every day since then for better months now, perhaps years. It's hard to tell being confined into this one small room for your life. The next 2 cells are empty, and in the last one, you see the dark-skinned, extremely long-haired, utterly quiet prisoner you know to be Darian. She is sitting in a corner, looking up at the small bit of sunlight from a bored hole that you're not even entirely sure how it came to be there, since everything is so thick throughout the walls and the temple, the island. One day it was just there, but Thessaly wasn't too concerned about it. Now and then you can hear metallic scraping sounds upon it, but every time you go to check you see nothing, and Darian just looking at that single hole, letting the sunlight glint upon her eyes, thinking about who knows what.
Come. And then I'll just go back down the hall and be like, oh, okay. Well, my job's still all good. I've been having to watch people ever since you left, and yeah, it's not a great life.
Imagine not. Sorry we were not able to keep things more interesting, at the very least. Who do you got?
Oh, would you like to come and see them with me?
If it means I get to stay with you, of course.
Of course. And then I just like hold her hand and then like walk down the hall with her.
Okay. So, Moxena, you see two strange lizard-like creatures, except they're fully grown with long, irregularly shaped scales, wearing nothing more than tattered rags as a makeshift loincloth, eating bits of raw flesh meat off of some type of subject. They don't seem to be paying much attention to you. You hear guttural kind of moans and snarls as they eat at this meat with their long black fingernails. They look kind of decrepit. They look as though they've been maybe not abused, but abused through neglect as they rot away in these cells. Continuing on, you see two more empty cells, and then in the last cell that Nira is showing you what she's been tending to for the decade while you've been so busy in Mitros, you see a dark-skinned, very, very long-haired, obviously Amazonian woman by the facial structure. But the eyes are remarkable. The eyes you will never forget. The eyes that gleamed at you without understanding, with fear, with horror, as you, your sister Tyria, and your sister Leah murdered her mother, the Queen, in front of her very eyes. This you know to be Darian, the only daughter of Queen Thessaly III, the one who you killed with your sisters to claim her authority over the Amazons in front of her. You know this is also the key to your plan.
I'm glad I don't have to go searching. Hello, Darian.
Her eyes break away quickly from that single bored hole in the wall, the light dancing apart them before she falls into shadow, which you can clearly see. She moves startlingly fast as she rushes towards the gate, her face twisting into one of anger and repulsion and hatred as you, and she screams at you. She screams at the top of her lungs, but in vision only, as no sound escapes her lips.
No. There's no need for that.
She continues to scream for several more seconds before realizing that she is banging as she bangs her arms and her head against the cell, screaming at what seems to be the top of her lungs, knowing it is futile. She begins to back away, her shoulders hunch forward, and she crouches in the corner of her cell like a caged animal, starts rocking back and forth and staring at you.
I know you. I will crouch down as well a little bit and kind of adjust my skirts and go. Now. There will come a good time where you may duel me for the revenge of the loss of your mother. But I come to offer you a deal, little queen.
Her eyebrows relax a little bit.
Do you know, I imagine, do not know that I have been gone for so long, that I was not locked away, but sent away. I come to murder those who betrayed me, the ones who helped to kill your mother. How would you like to take the throne again?
She slowly stands up, her shoulders still hunched forward, her face still contorted in tension, but now, rather than outright fury, it's more suspicion and confusion, and she takes a symbolic couple of steps forward, not quite meeting the edge of the cell, but closer.
Thank you. I confess I cannot. I imagine you've been in here the entire time I've been gone, yes?
And she slowly nods at you, never taking her eyes off of you.
Right, then. Can't take you quite yet. But I'm going to go, at the very least. I am going to go murder my sister. Sisters. Unless she'll leave Themis without a queen. As far as many are concerned, I am a traitor and a queen slayer. Twice over, in fact, at that point. I doubt any would listen to me after having committed such great wrongs. I trust that you would have a better chance of receiving the people than I. When the time comes, I ask that you don't kill me on sight, but you let me open that door and walk you to your throne. I may offer you advice if you should need it. After all, you have been in here for quite some time. But the throne would be yours again. What do you say? She smirks a little bit on the word say.
She ponders this for a bit. And she looks up towards the hole in her cell behind her and back towards you. And she takes very, very silent steps forward towards the cell door. She reaches her right hand out, breaking just through the cell, as if to offer a handshake of acceptance.
I know better than to let you grab me and pull me close, little one. But we are agreed?
She smirks, and then silently steps back a few more times and resumes that very same caged animal crouching position, staring through you as you turn to step away, thinking the whole time about how easy it will be several months down the road, once your oath to Lutheria has worn off and you no longer need to keep her alive upon her 18th birthday. How simple a dagger will make it to ensure that you are the only queen the Amazons will ever know again. Continuing down the hallway, on to your next goal. So you find yourselves back in the common area outside of the prison cells where Nira has spent the last decade wishing things had gone differently, wishing she could see Moxena again, wishing she could find the strength and opportunity to set right the wrongs of the past. You're alone for the time. You don't know how much longer. But you are wounded, Moxena. You are exhausted. And you know how powerful your sisters are. You fought them once and failed, which is why you were exiled. And you know you'll need every ounce of strength and focus you have to succeed this day.
As I leave I will keep my chin up, shoulders back, regal walk as I can past the prisoners. But then the moment the door closes and we're in the room alone, I will stagger a bit and cup a hand to the wounds I have on my side. Muted.
You okay?
It's just been a trying few days, my love.
Come here, let me see that.
I will sit and allow any fussing.
I'll inspect it a bit. And, like, you've just let this just fester. Thought I taught you better.
I have been surrounded by idiots the last few weeks. I've needed my focus.
Okay, well, that's gonna be a story for another time, isn't it? So you look like shit.
Thank you, my love. Your praise knows no bounds.
You know how blunt I am.
It is a gift I treasure.
So, fun facts. The girl I've been watching forever, she knows how to heal people. I can't. Might I suggest maybe having her, like, treat that?
I doubt sincerely that she wants to heal me.
Well, then maybe you should just grab one of the beds over there and I can lock the door.
I will. Alright. I will head over to the beds. And it's just a cot with, like, is there, like, any sort of mattressy sort of thing on it?
Yes, there are actually pretty comfortable, though really thin mattresses. You're not sure what they're stuffed with. The top is a thin material. It's very peculiar, but reminds you almost of kind of like bleached giraffe skin. It's thin, but it's well insulated and very comfortable.
Now we'll get in bed. And I will adjust the blankets as such, so in case anyone comes in, they can't see me.
Okay. All right.
When we have a moment, I have stories to tell you.
And then I'll just hop in bed behind her and then just spoon her. Whisper sweet nothings into my ear, darling. It's been forever.
Are you sure you want sweet nothings?
Well, you said you had stories.
I'm not making you go into any detail here, Joey.
I wasn't going to.
The first bit of sleep, that's not sleeping for the first chunk of that long rest.
I get it. I've gotten enough with Moxena and Lycus, so I'm good.
Yeah.
So, as you two tuck in, Nira, you know that because you've been effectively ensconced here as a prison guard, you've gone largely neglected. They know that you can't or won't leave. They know that the prisoners have always been safe in your hands because you have that sense of duty and responsibility to the Amazons as a whole, although very not towards their queen. And so you know that it might be days before you see another individual, as the guards who stand here with you rotate in and out, and they were just changed a day or two ago, so you shouldn't have any more visitors, except for the very, very rare random times when Queen Thessaly or her sister Leah will come in to harass Darien. You feel pretty comfortable and confident that y'all can rest here safely for the time being, and if not, well, you have your weapons handy just in case anyway. So, let me roll for a random encounter.
And ta-da, she's actually coming down right now.
Surprise! The Hydra breaks out.
Regicide, let's go.
All right. So
no, definitely any non-sleeping time is spent with, besides, you know, the first part, is a summary of sort of like, okay, yes, this is why I let my wound fester. So I've been traveling with these morons who call themselves the heroes of the prophecy. They're a bunch of a-holes. and I've had to share a bed with this, like, and just telling the story. It's a bit, like, and there is a Medusa who travels among them, but she's an absolute idiot, like, you know, sort of thing. Like,
all right. Well, keep in mind, long rest mechanic, you have to be sleeping with only very limited periods of light activity for at least 6 hours. So I don't know how much physical versus verbal is going on here or how long, but keep that in mind.
She's just muttering in her sleep.
Regardless. Thankfully, a decent amount of time passes, long enough for you to heal your wounds, because hashtag D&D magic, regain your focus, regain your strength, and although you don't want, neither of you want to rise up out of the warm comfort of each other's arms, you know that you have serious business that needs rectifying, and so you grit your teeth, force yourselves up, and prepare yourselves for the task ahead.
So, you want to find the queen, eh?
yes, it's all I've thought about. Well, not all I've thought about, but much of what I've thought about for the last 10 years.
Well, if you'd follow me, I think I can take you up to where they are.
Lead on, my love.
Okay. So, get up, do our stretches, get ready, and then before we step out the door, I'm like, now remember, you have to say the thing whenever you get out into the hall.
That is a new addition.
Yeah, I might fucking hate it too, but I don't want to get eaten by that thing, so... Let's go. So, step out. By the grace of Lutheria.
Which it pains you very much to say, Nira, because you believe in the traditional religion worshipping Mitros, and that as all the four, I won't say forefathers, the four mothers of the Amazonians did until Queen Thessaly, Moxena, and Leah took over. After Moxena was banished, you know that Queen Thessaly and Leah forced by sword or javelin the worship of Lutheria. And even though the majority of them pay respect to Lutheria kind of superficially, the vast majority of the Amazonians still hold true to the older ways, and they simply go along with the new way of things out of loyalty and duty to Queen Thessaly, and because, like all mortal creatures, they too, to a degree, fear the wrath of Lutheria. Stepping out into the hallway, uttering the secret password that keeps you from being attacked by the Guardian Hydra. You know where you're going, Nira. I'll let you lead the way. And if Austin forgot, just ask me.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Okay.
So we step out into the hallway. I'm like, well, you came from that side, right?
Yes.
To the right. Okay, so you know what's over there. To our left is where we'll be going. Forward, we don't talk about that guy. He's big, does stuff with his hands. It's cool. It's not my thing. So we go out.
Since when did we need a man to use his hands?
It's one of those like big dudes.
I repeat myself. I broke Joey.
Oh, look, I don't know why he's there. I've been in here for the last 10 years. I don't know what the fuck's going on out here. So, turn to the left. I'm like, okay, the bars are gone, right?
Correct.
Okay.
They are normally up unless the trap is activated or someone in the alcove you step through activates the switch to lower them.
Okay.
Or raise them, as it were.
Right. So then we'll just go through that hall, and then
Okay.
we're gonna go upstairs. Or
You got it.
Downstairs.
Downstairs to the next level down. All right, pull up that map real quick.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So, traversing down the hallway, you come to a T after you land at the bottom of the stairwell. To the left is a room about 15-20 feet down, and to the right the hallway curves. You've got it, Nira.
So down that shorter hall. That's where they keep the prime meat.
Ah.
So we'll just go this way.
As you say.
Now, before I open this door, might get airy. So just be prepared.
What? I missed the words.
It might be a little hairy in there, so just be prepared.
This would be the trophy room.
Right.
Okay, just making sure that we're on the same page.
All right. I will get my bow out just in case.
Sure.
Alright. And then I'm going to slowly push open the door.
You got it. Let me get to 1 second. I lost my place there. My notes. Because I was laughing. Okay. So, cracking open the door, you see a luxuriously appointed room. There are several bunk beds on either side. You can open the door.
Yep.
There are several bunk beds on either side, lining the walls. Around, well, more prominently in the center of the room, you see a large, finely crafted wooden table with several finely crafted, more like stools than chairs. But most notably, around the walls, all four walls of this room, there are rows upon rows, dozens of very large, beautiful trophy-type medals. Up on the banner hanging over, there's a beautiful banner hanging over the table at the rear, and you see carved in an ancient Amazonian script, and then beneath that in common tongue, which you both can read both of. You see the motto of the Amazons: a sisterhood of equals, our strength forged in battle, death before betrayal. And Moxena, here, you recognize this. They had a very similar setup before the changing of the crown, as we would put it, a decade ago, when you were but a simple Amazonian commander, you along with your sisters and your forces. For 5 years in a row, you and your sisters won the great game, without doubt, without delay, working together, even off the books, working together to make sure one, if not all of you, won the great games. And so you were honored time and time again by Queen Thessaly III. At this point in time, the queen still maneuvered around the land just like the rest of the Amazonian tribes did. And so within a communal tent in the queen's camp, there was a very similar setup. It just wasn't this concrete, marble, beautifully luxurious room. A very different time, a very different culture, a very different feeling. Tracking left to right, you glance around the wall, and then you see where you know your medals should be, you and your sisters. And so you find them, and on each one of them, Tyria and Leah, with Moxena harshly scratched out. They have not only physically stripped you of your power, your respect, but they have shamed you in Amazonian history across the board. The last time,
reach up and touch the scratched out name.
That's perfect, because as you reach up and touch the final one, the most recent one, the one that you won, you would argue virtually single-handedly, was awarded to you the very night that everything began. Touching it recalls an earlier time, when it was placed upon your chest by Queen Thessaly III herself. And you recall vividly the night preceding the awards ceremony, where you were resting with your sisters in your transitory tent in the Queen's camp, and each of you having a similarly vivid, all too real dream. The Lady of Dreams herself approached you, her antlers stretching out in glorious fashion, her third eye shining brightly, promising you immortality, promising you riches and wealth beyond your dreams, if you would simply capture Queen Thessaly and her daughter and deliver them to Lutheria for her purposes. You would be able to rule the Amazons for time eternal, as long as you continue to worship and respect Lutheria's will and do her bidding. But something went wrong. After the award ceremony that night, when all the Amazons finally let down their guard and seek revelry and warmth and comfort and pride and celebration in each other's arms in the Queen's camp, that one night a year the great game doesn't exist. Everyone around fell into a fitful slumber, drunk, engorged on food, exhausted from the game and the pleasantries that followed the award ceremony. You and your sisters specifically and intentionally abstained, keeping your strength, keeping your focus. And as the night grew long, you snuck into the Queen's tent. Now, you expected to ambush her, bound and gag her, and deliver her and her daughter to the emissaries of Lutheria on the coast the early next morning. But Queen Thessaly adds noble blood. A long line of Amazonian queens came before her, and in your hubris, you did not expect her to react as quickly or ferociously as she did to this betrayal. Grabbing the short sword from the nightstand next to her bed, she leapt up, completely nude, and fought off all three of you, armed and prepared yourselves. Blow led to blow, noise began to make, and you worried, each of you worried, that the rest of the camp would arouse, your betrayal would be exposed. And so Thessaly, in an act of desperation, struck out a mortal blow, slicing Thessaly's throat open and spilling her blood onto the bed right in front of Darian. Everything went startlingly black, and everything went perfectly still. No bird calls, no Amazonian sisters rushing to the aid of the Queen. Darkness all around you. In the darkness, the only thing you could see was three eyes and the dim outline of black antlers. And you knew that you had crossed Lutheria. You had killed the Queen instead of delivering her. And as your skin began to itch and your hair began to thicken, you realized you were now cursed, and you would be Medusas for the rest of your days. During this communication between Lutheria and yourselves, as she cursed you, transformed you, she told you she may still have use of Darian, although she was not ready for her yet. You had failed her, and so now she must reformulate her plans, and so you need to keep her alive at least until her 18th birthday. If you fail to do this, you'd be transformed into swine and served up for the entire Amazonian nation. And so you and your sisters resolved to imprison her in the Queen's camp. You had one of the many Lutherian cultists that came to reside on Themis cast a spell of silence around the area you chained her within. The touch of the metal, the coldness, the warmth of Nira next to you snaps you out of this flashback, and you resolve yourself back into the room, remembering this, steeling yourself, finding that seed of hatred that has kept you motivated, and resume your mission.
This kind of was mid sweeping of the fingers across the name, stopped halfway. Then when I come back, just kind of my hand back. We should move on.
It's just this way.
Oh, she's right. I will kind of take Nira's hand and give it a squeeze.
Okay.
You're close. Let's finish this.
Okay. So what now, friends?
God.
Then I'll lead her to the left door.
Okay.
And tell her. You ready?
Arrow comes out, not to the bow. Just. I have been waiting for this. I'm more than ready.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, I love you.
Whatever happens, I love you guys. And at that, I will kick in the door.
Okay. Boom! Kicking the door, flies open. Off to your right, immediately, you see a bluish skinned, horned creature known as a Maenad, putting down an instrument on the side as though she was unexpected. With shock, she stares to look at you. You see not Queen Leah, but you see Leah lounging on the bed luxuriously, the platinum helmet ornamental signifying her as a leader of the Amazonians, sprawled upon the bed in armor as though she was strapping up for some, not her fighting armor. She has ceremonial armor. It's two different sets, wearing this highly ornate, black trimmed, platinum encrusted ceremonial armor. Turn in the corner and look at each of you. As you kick the door open, you see a snarl come across her face, and we are going to roll for initiative. Right.
Quick, I need a mean pet sisterly nickname. I don't have siblings. I don't know if that's actually a thing, but like,
I'm drawing a blank.
it's either that or I'm just gonna go to insults. Is insults fitting of siblings?
Yeah.
Okay, I got one.
All right. So let's see. They are surprised. So, Nira, you see this. You see the Maenad reach over and grab something from the side. You're not sure. Probably some kind of a weapon. Not entirely certain. But you see Nira over there reach up and grab a silvered short sword off the wall and grab towards the shield as she prepares herself. It's a surprise. What are you going to do?
I'm going to rage and attack the Maenad.
Okay, go for it.
Yee. So first one's a 7 to hit.
Okay.
It's not gonna hit.
It does not.
And second is a 15 to hit.
15 does hit.
So that'll be 8 damage.
All right, you got it. She twirls out of your way for the first strike, but she kind of spins back around in the wrong direction you anticipated. You slash across her thigh. This dark blood kind of oozes out as she takes her hand and rubs it off and then slices it across this small dagger she has before licking it off her hand and grinning at you. Anything else?
That'll be it.
All right. Leah is surprised. His names are screwing me up. Moxena, you're up.
All right. Just so I'm clear, where I'll step in. But, Oh, that was very quick. I stepped in and there was just like a in my ear. Oh. Oh, okay. I've got my bow. I'm just gonna take an aim and just look and just go, oh, hello, whore, and then just fire.
Okay, go for it.
It's being a pain. Forgive me.
It's okay. Take your time.
Because I've just lost my nice magic buttons that let me do the firing. So let's see if that'll work. Nope, that first one's a nat 1.
Okay.
Then a 15 to hit
That's a hit.
for 17.
Okay.
And a 14 to hit for 13. Should I be including in
Alright.
there how much of that is poison damage?
Indeed.
Or- okay, let's see, can I tell? So the first one was 8 of that was poison.
Okay.
And
I don't know how much of each it is. No, there's no resistances to poison.
Okay, I just wanted to check. Okay.
Yeah, you and
Okay.
you would know this too.
So then that was 17 damage on the first hit and 13 damage on the second if a 14 hits.
Yep. 14 does not hit. 14 does not hit. 15 does.
15 does. Okay.
All right. So the first one ricochets off the platinum helmet as she turns to you, and the second one in her side and scrapes the shoulder. On the second arrow, the third one embeds in the wall behind her, and she just looks at you, confused and shocked, and you. How? Oh, sister. Oh, sister. Make them dance. Top of the round, Maynard's up. She jumps on the bed. You can get an opportunity attack if you want, Nira.
Yep. All right. So 9.
All right. So you narrowly miss her back of her leg as she hops up onto the bed and starts gyrating in this drunken craze, moving her body. It's simultaneously erotic and horrifying. I need y'all to give me a charisma saving throw.
For God's sake, Moxena. 12.
Okay. All right. 1 second here. Okay. So, for whatever reason, probably the magic within, you start to simulate the same movements from this Maynard, acting as though you're drunk and dancing erotically and clawing at each other, even though you can't resist the urge to fight it off. You hate it, but you have no control right now. Nira, I need you to roll me 1d10. It's your turn.
I rolled an 8.
Let me a sec here. Okay. Being confused, being overwhelmed by the sensation that you can't control, the Maynard's movements, she stops dancing for a moment, or maybe as part of the dance, she takes the dagger and thrashes out in front of her into the air, and you, having no control, repeat the same movement directly at Moxena in front of you with your short sword. I need you to make an attack roll against Moxena.
Watch this be the one that has high. Yeah.
19 to hit
That
for
hits.
8 damage.
Thank you, darling.
So out of nowhere, as you're dancing basically face to face, your strike that you also can't control, Moxena, goes wide with your longbow as you thrusted it out as though you were going to hit Nero, but Nero found purchase in your side with the sword and jerks it back out, and you feel the warm pain drip down your side. as the short sword is now coated in your blood.
I make a noise that is extremely inappropriate for a battlefield.
And Nira's face is this shock and disgust on it. All right, you can give me another saving throw to try and end the effect. Nira. Charisma save.
Jump. Say 13.
13, still a fail. All right, with this, Leah, seeing that you're both entranced by the Maenad, chuckles. Oh, sister. Oh, sister. And she walks across the room languidly, almost strolling, although quickly approaching you, and stands beside Nira and looks at you and looks at her. Oh, perhaps it wasn't good enough to separate you. I guess we'll just have to be done with it. Nira dozen, 21 hits.
Yeah.
So she looks back at Nira and smiles as Nira kind of twists her head away from you and looks completely uncontrolledly at Leah, and then with a quick thrust, short sword in the stomach, does 35 damage.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Yeah, then I'm down. Because I have 33.
Okay.
God.
So she slams a short sword into Nira's belly, and she doubles over, her body still contorting as though she's trying to dance. As her lifeblood starts pouring out on the floor, she collapses, and Nira smiles, and you see her lick Nira's blood off the blade before twisting it around and then jamming it once more towards Nira's chest, which is going to be advantage to hit because you're unconscious. And that is an 18 hit?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's automatic critical melee. It's 2 death saving throws. And she rips it out, and you hear this from Nira as her eyes start to widen and her face starts to grow pale. And she leans over Nira quietly, looks up at you, and you see that she raises her helmet off of her head, revealing the face of the Medusa as the snakes flow out from underneath. She smiles at you. You never should have come back. Turns to face Nira, and the snakes strike out at Nira. It's a 24 to hit. So these dozens of snakes latch on to Nira's shoulders and neck and face and clamp in, and you see they kind of arc and pump as though they're just shoving poison in or sucking lifeblood out of Nira. And after what seems like an eternity, you unable to control yourself, they rip apart, leaving dozens upon dozens of tiny red holes dripping blood and poison in some places on the upper part of Nira's body. As she steps away and smiles, swings her short sword, and faces you. Nira. Unfortunately, at this point, your story comes to an end. But thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. It was awesome. So we'll see y'all next time, Austin.
Good night at work, bro.
Bye.
God.
Oh, wrong one.
So you're not gonna kill my wife, and this is how you give me the prep work for when you kill Euron's wife. Is that what's happening here?
We're still fighting. I need you to roll me a d10.
5. It is only because she doesn't want to be discovered that she doesn't scream.
Right. Okay, so you would normally attack the nearest ally, but there isn't one, so you can get a strike in on Leah.
She still has a longbow out. I don't think she'd have enough control to swap longbow for sword. So I'm going to use the snakes.
Go for it.
And see, 19 to hit.
19 hits.
Or 19. and
God.
Moxena's face has like no emotion. It is cold and blank and empty. And just the snakes go, if possible, to aim-wise, Leah's face.
Striking out, snapping 2 or 3 hit, and you force him to pump poison into Leah, which she rips away in agony, the burning sensation that you know, because you've been the victim of this once or twice in your previous battles with your sisters, is it burns her skin and courses beneath her veins. She rips away from you, bashing the snakes away. All right. 22? All right, so the effect ends on you. You now have control of yourself.
If possible, I would like to then swap my bow for my sword.
Sure, that's fine. You got it.
And there's just no sound, nothing, just murder face.
Okay. With this, and seeing the effect end on you, Leah's face, once contorted in anger, now goes to rage, and she looks at you with alarm and looks back at the Maenad. Get her. I must tell Thessaly. So the Maenad charges up and lashes out at you wildly in this strange dance-like, it seems to be erratic, but it is actually quite precise motion with the daggers. First one is a 15 to hit.
Misses.
Second one is a natural 20.
Yeah, that one will hit.
For 10 piercing damage.
I can live with that.
Leah is going to lash out quickly with her short sword twice at you. That's a 22 to hit for the first strike.
Yeah. If it's higher than if it's a 17 or higher, it'll hit.
Okay. So the first strike is an 8. Second one is also a 22 for 8. And then that's a cat scratching at the door. And then she is going to take the disengage bonus action and dart across the room away from you. You see her turn tail lashing out quickly to get you off her tail. She turns and rushes towards the door directly opposite you, and you see her fumbling with a ring upon her waist, which pretty obviously has keys upon it. You're up, Moxena. What are you doing?
Just going at the Maenad.
Okay.
So, once that's a natural 1.
Okay.
18 to
That's a hit.
For
That's
6.
a hit. You got it.
And then the snakes will come out. Whoo, that's a 22 to hit.
God.
For 21 damage.
All right. So the first strike, you lash out. You intended it for be a fainting blow because you missed, and throws her off guard. The second strike comes across the belly, causes her to double over right into your snake hair as they latch on and pump her full of poison, and her face goes blank. Her eyes roll in the back of her head, and she collapses off to the left, rolling a bit at the foot of the bed before coming to a rest. Anything else?
I will walk over her. Like, I will step on that dead body, and I will just walk up. And I don't know if I can do this for flair, but I like this idea. If the keys come up, I want her to put sword goes through and traps the ring of keys against the wall.
Sure. Of course.
And just nothing, just silence.
Okay. You got it. Wham! Slams into the door. You hear some type of peculiar muttering on the other side, even though your heart's pounding in your ears, the rage filling your veins, having seen Nira get destroyed by Leah right next to you. And she turns around trying to yank the keyring away, and she can't as you have it jammed in the door. And so quickly she thrusts out twice with a short sword at you. First one is a natural 1. Second one is a 17 to hit for 7.
That's exactly my AC, so yeah, that'll hit.
And being this close and knowing she can't get the key ring away, she is going to lash out with her snake hair at you, try and throw you off. That is 13 to hit.
Misses.
Misses. So sensing this coming, you pull away just narrowly before they will reach their apex and bite into your skin, but doing so dislodges the sword and the keyring falls to the ground. She reaches down to pick it up and grab it and begins to quickly try to get to the lock again. You can see the panic in her eyes. You can see somehow, for some reason, either you're way more powerful than you used to be, or she's much less powerful than she used to be, and she knows it. Moxena, what are you doing?
Just continuing.
Okay.
First swing of the sword's a 12 to hit, so that. And a 10 to hit. Come on, snackies. That's an. Oh my god! Natural 20 with the snake hair!
Good.
Based on that math that it's doing, that's 49 damage.
I'm gonna let you have this one. Go for it.
Yes! Sorry, Euron barely kills anything. So, I have a thought in my head. Maybe will you let me do it? I wonder.
Do it. This is yours.
At the princess, in the end of the Princess Bride, when Inigo Montoya kills the count, he does the little slash, and then the killing blow. So she will turn her sister and do the kind of whoop, whoop, and then just, you should have killed me. And then snakes just descend and rip, they try like between the poison and try and like rip Moxena's throat, not going to say that, Leah's throat out.
Backed against the door, her cheeks bleeding and dripping down. Her eyes were wide as the golden irises focus on you, and she's trembling beneath your very grasp, and you know you finally have what you were looking for. And the snakes rip out and gorge themselves on her neck, and with a massive backward thrust of your head, the front half of her throat rips out in front of you, and blood pours down her chest as she looks at you and reaches out, life fading from her eyes. She falls to her knees and then slumps back in a kneeling position as her hand drops to the floor and her eyes turn to glass. And that is where we're going to take a break.
Thank you, Joe.
No, we're not done yet. Don't thank me yet.
This is great though. So
all right. So Leah seemingly defeated. Nira, unfortunately, a casualty in the process. A locked door in front of you. One sister down, one to go. A crown to claim. And a nation to rule. We're gonna find out what happens after the break. So bio, stretch, invite your friends, all that good stuff. We will see y'all then. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're back. So, Moxena. The body of your sister Leah, kneeling, throatless, avenged, in front of you. A dead Maenad lying across the room from you, and the still tortured body of Nira lying nearby. You still hear sounds of murmuring on the other side of the door, but no sounds akin to footsteps or anything similar. There is a silver keyring on the floor next to Leah's body, and you are otherwise alone in this, what appears to be, luxurious queen's bedroom. The scene is yours.
Now that this is over, I'm going to take a moment, kind of allow for a little bit of breathing. There's probably blood spatter all over my face. Pull snakes back. Keep my sword in hand, turn and rush over to Nira's body and just kneel and kind of take her in my arms and touch my forehead to hers.
She's still warm.
I would like to try and see if there's a way I can stabilize her.
Okay, give me a medicine check.
Okay. Let's see, Moxena, you murderous Sal. Do you have room in your heart to heal? No, she does not. This is 7.
Okay. Even despite that, you know that it would take a miracle from a god like Mitros herself to overcome such grievous wounds and poison as Nira has suffered. And the only god you have in any way worshipped for any amount of time is Lutheria, and Lutheria doesn't grant such favors. And if she does, as you learned already, they often come with a hefty price that oftentimes isn't worth it.
I will just tilt my head back down, rest my forehead against hers, nose to nose. Just gonna breathe. And just... I wish we had more time. And I'm gonna lean up, kiss her forehead. And I would like to end her pain.
Okay. Without thought, without emotion, you do what must be done and turn to face your final adversary.
And then I go grab those keys and also contemplate why she was in a lock, why this hallway must be locked. And start looking for the right key.
Okay. There's only 3 rings, 3 keys on this ring. There's only one of an appropriate size to fit this door. You can see around the lock on the door itself, where Leah was fumbling with it, scratching the surface, gouging at it, trying desperately to unlock it in fits of panic, it seems. You gingerly slide it in, fits perfectly. You unlock it?
I unlock it.
Okay. I assume you're approaching stealthily?
Actually, I have a thought. How much blood is, so kind of put the key in the lock. I won't open it yet. But, how similar do Leah and I look to each other?
Very. You were very close in age growing up together. Your final forms are very similar indeed. In fact, it's very possible if one just knew a description of you, or even had seen you vaguely once or twice, they would mistake you two for each other.
I'm going to swap out and put on Leah's very bloody clothes. And put on her helmet.
Okay, so the platinum ornamental armor you're wearing, you pick up the shield and the short sword, the platinum helmet you slide down over your face, obscuring the vast majority of it. There's barely diagonal shaped eye slits and a very thin line in between, and it's formed in such a way as to shadow the face. And you know that this is because the rest of the Amazons didn't know what you all did. They didn't know you had become Medusas. They simply knew what you told them, and being the strongest and the most respected amongst them, they believed you when you told them the queen died mysteriously in her sleep. Lutheria protected Darien from whatever illness or malevolent influence caused it, and you hid your appearances as Medusas because of the outrage and fear and repulsion it would cause amongst the vast majority of them. There was a select few Amazons who you had battled with for years, who you knew closer than any other sisters, who came to know you as what you were and wholeheartedly took up worship of Lutheria. And you can only imagine that either some of the Amazons in this temple were of the same that you don't recognize, or were of their descendants or have been replaced, but they are similarly within the fold of the great deception that is occurring.
Alright, then I will get into Leah's clothes, swap out the sword I was using for hers, kind of coat it in some of the blood that's on the floor.
You would also know that Leah was not wielding a longbow. So do with that information what you will.
I will take Leah's body and put the longbow, and I'm gonna try and like shuffle it to the side.
Okay.
And like, actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna take the sword and quickly just destroy Leah's face.
Okay.
Completely just like wreck it. And then with all this appropriated, drop the longbow in the quiver, unlock the door, and open it.
Okay. Opening the door, there's a brief few feet walkway before the room opens up to your left-hand side. You see cushions and chairs lining the walls of this magnificent-looking, high-ceilinged, rectangular, oblongish type room. At the opposite end of the chamber, you see a huge white marble statue of an antlered woman wielding a crystal scythe. The woman's eyes are inlaid with pure black onyx, and her unearthly gaze seems to fixate on you as you enter the room. Sitting on the cushions and chairs on the opposite side of the room near the statue, you see 5 Amazonian warriors in full armor, shield and sword laid on the ground, their heads slightly bowed, though their eyes are up to a figure standing prominently in the center of the room over a body lying in repose beneath her feet. This figure, wearing a similar but more ornate platinum helmet and ceremonial armor, you instantly know is Queen Thessaly IV, or your sister Tyria. The body beneath you, you see an Amazonian woman in a pale white robe, lying on her back, her legs stretched out before her with blood on the ground. And in Thessaly's arms, you see a small infant child. Noticing you enter the room, Queen Thessaly looks up from the newborn Amazonian baby, and she smiles. Sister, I was hoping you would arrive soon. We have a new one. And she hands it off to an Amazon on the side. She kneels down. The Amazonian mother, just having given birth, looks in Thessaly's eyes. She closes them, and you hear her whisper, "I am ready." And Thessaly strokes her hair and says, "I know, sister. I know." You see, she takes a cup and puts it next to the Amazonian woman's head, and then with an ornamental dagger takes it A quick strike makes a thin slit across her throat, and the blood pours into the goblet next to her neck. After a few seconds of this, Thessaly bows her head, stands up, turns to the statue and raises it up. Another one for you, my goddess. Our pledge fulfilled. And drinks from the cup. And she turns to Leah, who she believes is Leah, and she says, "Come, sister. It's your turn to drink. You've been losing your strength."
I will kind of smile in the way that I know Leah always does, and nod, and walk up with eagerness, and take the goblet.
Handing it off her, her hands fold in front of her as she watches you sip the warm, strong flavored blood. You put it back, she extends her hands forward, takes it, and then passes it around the room to the other Amazonian warriors. They seem to do so hesitantly. You sense upon you and upon her a rush of energy, something curious, something peculiar you haven't sensed before. And it almost, if not for the repulsion of what is going on, it is almost a pleasant sensation. As the Amazonian warriors pass this cup around, you see no sense of a similar feeling coming upon them, as though this gift that is somehow taking place only applies to you and Leah. Well, what would have been Leah? Thessaly. You go take the baby to the Maenads. They'll tend for it. And give Priest Arthos my warm regards once more. Sister, what kept you? And what was... Did you trip? What was that sound? We became alarmed for a moment. You see, before I forget this as well, the Amazon woman where she's lying on the ground, now dead, blood spilled out. She's lying on this, it's probably like 5 foot in diameter, thin golden circle with strange runes around it that are barely glowing.
Alright, we'll see how well I can mimic. Do a mimicry. Just for the record for you, Joey, my heart's fucking racing. I will just kind of smile and go. And in the best mimicry I can of Leah's voice, go, "It was nothing, sister. Worry not, I simply enjoyed the dance a little too much."
Give me a deception check.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Thank you, Moxena. 14.
Alright, let me roll. I'm revealing all these
Thank you. I appreciate
individuals
it.
for you. I forgot about that. This Amazon has walked out with the baby. Alright, let me roll an insight check for Thessaly. She cocks her head a little bit. That's curious. I don't remember you ever being such an enthralled. No matter. It is a new month, and we have renewed life. And she takes her helmet off. And you see the snakes on her head are good 2.5, 3 feet long. Much longer than Leah's and yours. And she stands tall, a little bit taller than you remember, which is curious. Maybe you're shorter, or maybe your memory's fading. And she looks at you. Come, we celebrate. Take off that helmet. I would like to kiss you.
will just kind of look down and smile. And in my voice, I want to, as just let Moxena's voice just go. Are you sure this is new life? And I want to pull out my sword and try and just gut my fucking sister.
All right. Let's roll for initiative. Let's do it.
Oh, God. Oh. Okay, that's decent.
All right. So, as you thrust out, she, in a flash, whips her arm around and knocks it free. Apparently she was ready for you, either because she didn't buy your deception, or she knew more than she thought with the sound against the door. It doesn't matter now, you're engaged. You do have the initiative as she whirls around, rips a sword from the nearest Amazon and a shield from the other one, as those two go to the corners to grab more. You're up. What are you doing?
I'm just refreshing my page because I managed to lose my my weapons, but
You're
then
good?
I will use a moment. And is it an action to take off my helmet?
No, it's fine.
All right, then I will go. But as you say, off, toss it, and then just take a swing.
Go for it. Let's do it.
So the first one's a 12, so I doubt that'll hit.
Does not hit.
Then the second's a 19.
That hits.
For 7.
All right.
And then the snakes, an 18 to hit.
That's a hit.
Or 14.
You got it. All right. Anything else?
I can't move really behind her because there's a statue in the way.
Correct.
And either way, I would have had to move through an Amazon. That's pretty much it. I'm just going to look at her and just go. And just nothing. Just slowly just smile at my love. And actually, you know what? Just simple. Just hello, Tyria.
So the first strike that she deflected, you came around a second time, caught the back of her arm, and snakes lashed out and bit her in the shoulder, and she thrust apart, and as she did, the shield came around, knocked you loose a little bit. The Amazons are up, but not before she returns the grin and says, I smelled you, you filth. Amazons are going to spread out around you, and they are all going to rage and attack.
Okay, how many rounds can Moxena last?
Well, first it's a natural 20, so that's not a good start.
Nope.
Alright, so the first one is 15 piercing damage from a short sword attack, a whirling blade from the one to your upper left. The second one's an 11. You dodge that.
Hold on, what was the first damage count? I don't have her sheet up quite yet.
15.
15?
Oh,
Okay,
Jesus.
thank you.
The second one's a natural 20. So, natural 20, then an 11. The natural 20 was 15 damage.
Yeah.
Next Amazon strikes out, catches you in the back with another natural 20 for 11. I'm sorry. That's going to be 13. And then add another two from the first strike because that was raging as well. All right, second attack from the second Amazon is a natural 1. The platinum shield deflects that. The third Amazon strikes out with a 13.
Misses.
And a 23 to hit for 9.
Yeah, that hits.
The last Amazon dances around. Natural 1, you hop over it. The second one comes around, catches you midair with a 17. I'm pretty sure that hits.
That's exactly my AC, yep.
Okay, for another 9 damage. So, like a tornado of well, not steel, bronze, swords and shields, they spin around lashing, and you duck and you dive. dip, dodge, taking several cuts, some grievous, as they enter into their formation around you. Thessaly, seeing you twist back around, strikes upward with her short sword. First one's a 24 to hit.
Jesus, Moxena's gonna get her ass beat.
That's
I'm
only
fine with that.
that's only 3 damage.
Okay.
Second one is a 13. And she likewise latches out with these extremely long snakes. And that is 20 damage. That's a 20 to hit for 21 damage.
Good lord. 21 damage?
Yep, 20 to hit for 21 damage. The snakes lash out and strike at your neck and your chest and pull away from burrowing behind the armor. We told you you weren't worthy. We told you you should have never crossed us. But you did. You arrogant wench, you did. You almost ruined everything. And now we will draw life from you. Moxena, you're up.
You must have fallen if you must draw life from someone who is not worthy. And then I'm gonna swing at her again. I don't care about the others. It's her.
Go for it.
It's just fucking her. Okay. 16 to hit
16 hits.
for 4.
Okay.
And 21 to hit for 7.
You got it.
And 18 to hit for 21.
Nice. All right. So, enraged, you lash out wildly with the short sword and your snake hair. In a flurry of biting and stinging and slashing, you start to inflict significant injuries all across her body. She screams out in rage and agony. She pushes you back. She waves off the other Amazons. Stop! She is mine. And so they snap back.
Come get me, whore.
All right. You done?
Yeah, that's multi-attack. That is all. As far as I know, she has no bonus actions.
No, she does not.
Yeah. So, fully prepared to die next round. Let's do this.
Okay. So you see her whirl around with the short sword towards your face, but the last second you realize your mistake. You know this was a feinting maneuver to get you out of position. You're off balance. She lunges forward. These 3-foot long snakes reaching out towards you. A 23 to hit.
Yeah, that fucking hits.
I got you. I'm tracking your HP. Yeah.
You're tracking my HP. Yeah.
16 damage.
That isn't fucking.
Short sword attack is a 25 to hit. That's 8 damage. So the snakes lash out, latch onto you, and you reach up both hands and pull them out of your skin, ripping flesh, poison spraying, blood spraying, and as it gets in your eyes, you wipe out quickly with your shield trying to defend yourself before, with the handle of her sword, she whips it across your face. You spin for a moment, seeing Amazonian faces, seeing Nira, seeing everything you hoped for dash before your eyes as you slam to the marble floor and go unconscious. Change the music back.
God, I haven't that. I have a thought of what's about to happen to her, and it's going through my head. My brain's just like, because unfortunately, nerd, my brain's just going like, then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee as our rare monsters are, painted on a pole, and under writ here you may see the tyrant.
Those are your first thoughts as you come back to consciousness. You don't know how long you've been out. As your eyes blurrily come into vision, the first thing you see is you're looking down upon that golden disc in the floor, somewhat dried with blood, Whether it was the Amazonian mothers or your own, you can't tell. But there's no one else in the room. You start to stagger forward, but then you realize you are bound. And you're looking back across the room from the opposite angle to which you entered. There's something holding your wrists and your feet. You look left and you look right, and you see bronze shackles and bronze chain latched around your arms and legs and looped around behind you somewhere. Glancing up, you see the onyx-eyed statue of Lutheria gazing down upon you as you are chained to her front and hanging over. You feel the warm blood drip down from your neck and shoulders, and you hear a slight dripping sound as though drops of water falling into a pool. And it's curious because it almost echoes throughout the quiet chamber. Glancing down to see this peculiar sound, there's a bronze bowl with golden trim, and within it, blood dripping off of you at this angle is falling and collecting in this bowl at the base of your feet. But the wounds on your face, you feel them through your skin. You remember how much injury you took before you were rendered unconscious. There's much too much blood in this bowl to have come from those injuries. With this, you hear the door across the room open and Thessaly saunter in with her bodyguards. Helmet still off, bruises and cuts from your previous engagement, the blood now dried on her. The bruises, even through the greenish skin, showing this dark purplish color beneath her scales. She walks over to you, and she can't contain the smile upon her face.
I will smile back, just to match.
In agony in your facial muscles, you force the grin. She looks at you curiously. What are you smiling about, sister? You don't even know what's happening, do you? With each drop of blood that you lose and I consume, I grow more powerful. I will live longer. And because we are so special, I can bleed you dry for eternity. Always gaining, and you always losing, until you are too weak to even fight back. And I can unshackle you and put you in the cell next to that prisoner, and you'll have no choice. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't look like you believe me. Where did I get all this blood from? I can see it in your eyes. You don't yet understand. And you see her hand come forward and wrench the side of your head and pull something into view. Your snakes have been cut off, and they are all draining blood into the bowl at your feet. Do you understand now? You're mine for crossing me. Oh. I'm not used to having a Medusa. I completely forgot. Your eyes. No matter how much I bleed you dry, you'll always be dangerous. Let's take care of that. She pulls out a dagger, and the last thing you see is a metal blade in each eye.
I do not give her the pleasure of a scream. I will bite my own fucking tongue off before I scream.
The taste of blood in your mouth keeps you silent as you lose your vision and feel the searing pain throughout your head. And the last thing you hear before you lose consciousness from the pain once more is a sinister chuckle and fading steps. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session at.
My brain's thoughts is just going like, I cannot. It's just internally just like, the heroes are gonna fuck you up. I wanted her to say something about that, but I cannot. I just want to be like, just like, and this is why I didn't come alone.
Oh man. All right. Well, everybody, a little bit of a dark session, a little rough, but such is the life of Moxena. I hope that this provided a little bit of context, a little bit of background for what's been going on the island of Themis. And, you know, bonus, we got to stream tonight on what would have otherwise been a no stream night, so that's always good. I like making stuff like that happen. And I'm going to try and do this again more in the future if, you know, real life pops up, try and get some other little side session or something like that. So if you liked it, let me know. If you're on Twitch now or YouTube later, let me know, especially in the Penny for a Tale Discord, because since I'm streaming to the Penny for a Tale channel, I can't even see chat, unfortunately. That's why I never respond to y'all. Well, that and I don't really respond while I'm DMing anyway, so I can focus. But regardless, let me know in the Penny for a Tale Discord. We have our own channel in there, or you can ping me at DiceyBard in the general chat, so that'd be awesome. Or leave a comment on the YouTube channel. I go through those as well. So before we cut off, this was a very unique session. It was very different, and I will check in with Austin later since he had to go to work. But real quick, Ari, how'd you feel? Good, bad, too much, too little? What do you think?
Yeah, this is the most eloquent comment I will give you. I think every person who plays D&D, as much as they eventually work out the flow of how the games work, always wants that one like cinematic, perfect moment to happen where you feel a little bit like, okay, in this moment I'm the main character. This is how I imagine it. It's glorious. You gave me that moment tonight. Thank you.
Yeah.
It wasn't my character, but it worked just. Wow. Thank you.
That's great. Well, thank you for that. It was very improv, right? Didn't have this planned out, but I knew the setting and I knew I could trust my players, and that's what happens. It wasn't me. It was just as much, if not more, y'all than it was me. I just reacted and described what happened in response to you, as is my job.
I would have been vaguely impressed and horrified if I managed to kill Thessaly. I didn't want.
I'm gonna tell you what, you did a lot more damage than I thought you would. You really did. You did well. You did very well. So it was good. It was good.
When can my hair do that?
Do what?
That much fucking damage?
Oh, well, I mean, y'all are only level 7, right? So you'll get there. We'll make it work. I think y'all are level 7. I can't remember.
Yeah, we're level 7.
2 campaigns makes it hard to remember.
Yeah, we're level 7.
Oh. All right. Well, thank you, Ari and Austin. I know you're not here, but thank you, Austin. Sorry, I missed my other players. I'm sorry y'all couldn't be here, but we got next week where y'all are going to come into the remnants of this, since all of this is transpired as the main party has been working their way from the previous night's rest up until where y'all are diving down into the water. So
I can't wait. I'm looking
see what
forward
happens.
to party finding Moxena like this. I can't wait. Oh.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be awesome. All right. Well, all that being said, we love you all very much. Check out YouTube, Twitter at DiceyBard for me, Penny for a Tale Twitter, all that good stuff. Okay, all that good stuff. I can't even go into it tonight because I'm still on too much of a high and kind of jittery. The only other thing I will plug is if you like Fableforge content specifically here on Penny for a Tale, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/FableforgeRPG. It'd be great to have your support there so we can keep making the best content possible for you, and a lot of exciting things to come in the future. So take care of yourselves, keep having great adventures, and we'll see y'all next Tuesday for Hearts of Shadow or Thursday for Odyssey of the Dragonlords. Good night.
Night, y'all.